Hello, this is Dr. Richard Fleming, and today is Friday, August 28th, 2020. In some of my recent video conversations, we've been looking at whether viruses exist or not. For a moment, let's put aside the argument that viruses don't exist, because what I bring to you today is clear documentation that I believe demonstrates that both the United States and China have violated the 1925 Geneva Protocol, and more specifically, Article 1 of the Biological Weapons Convention, that states that any party that is a participant to the signing of these documents will not be involved in the collection or production or any use of viruses or other biological materials that could prove to be hazardous to people. On the 19th of April 2002, a patent was filed by Chapel Hill University in North Carolina. The patent number itself was 7279327. Frequently, it's difficult to look through a patent and understand what it's really about. The best way to really understand a patent is to go down to the claims, because that is in fact what the individual submitting the patent or claiming their new invention does. The 13th item states that this is a method of making infectious, replicative, defective coronavirus particles comprising of not only helper cells, but coronavirus particles in said helper cells, and the collecting of the coronavirus from said helper cells. That submission was in April of 2002. The patent that was eventually secured by such individuals was US Patent 7220852. And that came through on May 22nd, 2007 for a specific coronavirus. Now, as I've discussed before, you can't patent something if it's naturally occurring. So this work from Chapel Hill, funded by somebody in the United States, produced a gain of function virus that eventually became known as SARS-1. 2002, by the way, is the same time when China noticed a problem with SARS-1 infecting its people. That demonstrates a clear connection between Chapel Hill and potentially other US individuals and China. That same virus was further manipulated and published in a paper in 2008, a year following the actual solidification of the US Patent Office granting the patent, which was assigned to the United States Department of Health and Human Services. The paper in 2008 came from Wuhan, China, and it very specifically stated that the virus that they were working with included the inclusion of a human immunodeficiency virus pseudovirus system. The documented work by Chapel Hill also included information that showed that part of what was being worked with was an antigen such as the rabies G antigen. That's significant because Dr. Kevin W. McCarran, PhD, who's currently living in Japan, has brought it to everybody's attention that if you look at COVID-19, near the S protein component of the virus, there is the genetic equivalent of the rabies virus, explaining his concerns for the uptake of this virus neurologically and some of the behaviors that people are demonstrating. There's clear lineage between the University of North Carolina Chapel Hill, some other information connecting Fort Detrick in the United States, and the subsequent transfer of this information to Wuhan, China, at least some of which we know was funded by taxpayer dollars by NIAID, and clearly the assignee for the original SARS-1 virus, now showing to be the US Department of Health and Human Services, provides documented information, not only showing that the virus exists, but how to further measure it and use it. It shows a sequence of patterns with manipulation for gain of function, both in the United States and in Wuhan, all of which is a violation of our biological weapons covenant and the 1925 Geneva Protocol.